What's up YouTube, MalOS Matt here. As you can see by along here, it's deck profile time again, but we're going a little bit different. So obviously the recent ones have all been Premium, V-Premium and Overdress format. Well, this time we're taking a little trip back in time. So this one is for the G format. Now G format is something that's not officially organised by Bush Road, but there are quite a few people within the community that enjoy playing this format. So there was a tournament I entered, I say tournament, it was more of a league type thing that I entered the past month. Didn't do amazingly, but I wanted to create some content on it, see if you guys like it, and see where we go from there. So the deck, obviously, for me, is going to be... Oops, as I drop him. Harry. So, yeah, this is going to be basic Pale Moon, derp shenanigans, the good old fun stuff, but for the G format. So, I'm going to go through the list, explain my choices, and some little bits that I would like to change, both for G Zone and for the main deck. But let's get started, and we'll start off, obviously, as you saw, the grade 3. Going to go with the first one being our main ride of the deck in Masked Phantom Harri. So Harry has got 3 skills. First one is Auto Vanguard Circle GB2, once per turn. Counterblast 1. When your rear guard is put into your soul from your rear guard, rear guard circle into your soul, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose a grade 3 card with the Mystayre ability from your soul and put it into your hand. Second skill is when each unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose one to put into your soul and put the other onto the bottom of your deck. And the third one is also when you stride upon this unit, you can soul blast 1. If you do, choose a card with the Mystayre ability from your soul and call it to Rearguard Circle. At the end of the turn, put that unit from your Rearguard Circle back into your soul. So I'm going to start off with the simple question of what is Mystayre? So Mystayre is an ability exclusive to Pale Moon, and even then further on certain units, that states the ability it gives it the ability to call something else from soul, but at the end of the turn it's then forced back into soul. So having that keyword on a lot of our stuff is really nice for the fact of obviously it puts it back into soul, so it then can't be locked, can't be retired, and then we've got it where we want it again in our soul to then use it again the following turn. So going through the skills, we've got obviously the first skill being adding a grade 3 from soul to hand GB2. Because this is the end of turn skill, this is after you've strode. So after your stride has gone back to the G zone again. So you're able to activate this skill during your end phase when your Mystayre resolves and things go back into your soul. But this also can be during your opponent's turn, because there is stuff that lets us call cards from our soul during our opponent's turn. So being able to add the grade 3 from your soul to your hand, to then be able to use it for striding. You can then re-ride extra Masked Phantoms if you want to get that extra soul filter. There's so much combos that you can do off just adding a grade 3 to your hand. And then obviously the middle skill, get into check top 2, filter what you want into your soul and what you want to the bottom. And then what you don't want goes back to your bottom of your deck, but because you shuffle so much in Pale Moon, it doesn't hurt that badly. Then the third skill, the on stride, calls a Mystayre unit out. So obviously, with it calling a Mystayre unit out, more than likely not, you're going to end up calling another Mystayre unit, filling up your board. But due to other cards, this isn't used as often because we can fill our boards so easily without having to rely on soul blasting. Next card on the list is our backup grade 3, because obviously you're not always going to ride that Harry. So we do need a backup. And we have gone for good old the Masked Magician Harry. So Masked Magician Harry's got 2 skills. First one being, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, choose up to 1 card from your soul, call it to Rearguard Circle. And that unit and this unit get 3,000 power till end of turn. That's a Vanguard Circle GB2. This is not Mystayre, so the card stays on the board. However, the second skill is a Mystayre, Auto Vanguard Circle, When your G unit strides during your turn, you can put Counterblast 1. If you do, you Soul Charge 1, choose up to 1 card from your soul and call it to Rearguard Circle. It gets 5,000 power until end of turn, and at the end of the turn it then goes back into your soul again. So obviously having this as a backup is really nice because it's still got the Harri name, which is what we do need with some of our cards. Plus the fact of it's Counterblast and we're building up a soul, and the unit call doesn't have to have the Magia ability, and you get an extra soul charge out of it. All in all, really nice card as a backup. Moving on to grade 2s, and we're going to move on to, personally, one of my favourite grade 2s in the deck, and that is Flying Peryton. So Flying Peryton's got the skill of Magia Auto GB1. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, you Soul Charge 1. Choose up to 1 card from your soul, call it to Rearguard in the same column as this card, and at the end of the turn put the unit called by this card effect back into your soul. So this is what I was saying about earlier with Master Phantom Harri of getting to call extra stuff out of it. So obviously you can Phantom Harri to call this from soul, to then use this to Soul Charge another card and call another card out, which can then be another combo extender, and you can carry on building your soul up. Field up, sorry. The Soul Charge for this is mandatory, and it does also activate when you place it from hand, so you do have to be very careful because Pale Moon does compress its deck very quickly. All in all, really fun card and really useful for the deck. Next one up is 3 copies of Dancing Princess in the Night Sky. Dancing Princess in the Night Sky's got the skill of when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, if you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less Pale Moon and put it into your soul and shuffle your deck. So this is a nice extra bit of a consistency because we can search our deck for whatever we're missing, put it in our soul to prep it to call from there with all our different skills that we have going off. So just the extra consistency is nice. Yes, it's only an 8k base, but it does help for the fact of, with it being an 8k base, we can actually damage an eye quite nicely because most grade 2 units are going to be 9ks and 10ks. So with G Format having a high predominance to the grade 2 gaming, because you want to guarantee that you're getting the first stride, having something that can damage an eye so your opponent can't Sea Breeze you is actually really nice. Next grade 2 up is 2 copies of Misdirection. Misdirection's got the skill of Auto Soul. When another of your Pale Moon is placed on Rearguard Circle from your soul, if you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you may call this card to Rearguard Circle. If you called it at the end of the turn, put this card back into your soul. So this is very much when you call something, she gets called out and she returns as if it was Magia. So really nice card. It extends your combos even further because obviously if you do mid-battle phase calling from your soul, she can then pop out as an additional extra attacker, and she combos off nicely with stuff like Purple Torpedoes, which I'll explain further when we get to it. So the last grade 2 we run is 1 copy of Intensely Spicy Clown. So Intensely Spicy Clown's got the skill of Auto Rearguard Circle GB1. When your other unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from your soul, choose up to 1 of your Vanguards, and that unit and this unit get power plus 2000 until end of turn. So this is really good for scaling, because obviously every single call that we do, him and the unit called gain plus 2000, but it doesn't have to just be offensively. This is not restricted to just your turn, so any calls you can happen to pull off during your opponent's turn would then let this help your Vanguard scale up even further. So really nice card for the defensive plays that Pale Moon actually has. So we're going to move to grade 1s, and since we've talked about the defensive plays slightly, we'll bring up the first one, which is a Lovely Companion. So Lovely Companion's got the skill of obviously Sentinel, and the basic perfect guard skill of when placed from hand, discard a card, can't be hit to the end of battle. But her use comes more into her third skill, which is the Magia at Auto GB2. Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on, retired from Guardian Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Harri in its card name, you can choose a grade 2 card from your soul and call it to Rearguard Circle. And at the end of the turn, put this unit called back into your soul again. So this combos off really nicely with the Intensity Spicy Clown. So say for example you've got Intensity Spicy Clown behind your Vanguard. You then call Purple Trapezist, not Purple Trapezist, use this to guard, and then Perfect Guard skill, Soul Blast 1, call a Flying Peryton from your soul. Flying Peryton skill, Soul Charge 1, call a Master Phantom Harri behind him. That call then activates, calls out a Misdirection. You've then gained 6k defensive power onto your Vanguard during your opponent's turn, making it easier for your A to block your attacks, and B, it does also protect himself a bit more. Because say for example he's in the front row, he's gaining that power as well, so he's also getting protected out of it. But the best place honestly for this is behind the Vanguard, where they can only touch it with retire. But even then, you can still use Misdirection during the Lovely Companion during the battle phase to call out the Intensity Spicy Clown to set up combos. So there is so much potential due to this card that's gained from this card. But we can't talk about combos with the best combo extender the deck has access to in Purple Trapezist. So Purple Trapezist has got the skill of, when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you may choose one of your Pale Moon Rearguards and put it into choose another of your Pale Moon Rearguards and put it into your soul. If you do, choose a card from your soul not called Purple Trapezist and call it to Rearguard Circle. So obviously this works really nicely. So say for example, we're on the defensive players again. We've got Intensity Spicy Clown behind our Vanguard. We then do Perfect Guard, using skill, to call out the Flying Peryton. Flying Peryton Soul Charges, calls out a Purple Trapezist. Purple Trapezist then activates, puts Flying Peryton back into Soul, but then calls the Flying Peryton to the other side, which then Soul Charge ones, and calls something else out, which then also activates good old Misdirection. So you've then gained 5 calls, giving 10k buff from this. You've got double intercept, because the Purple Trapezist doesn't actually locks it in place, so the Magia won't put back into Soul again. So intercepting this off as an extra 5k shield for if needed gives you so much extra plays. But obviously that's just the defensive plays. You've got the offensive plays as well. Oh, when your strides only call a small number of units out, you can call out a Purple Trapezist, which then calls then resets another card to give you more plays, to more attacks, more units called. There is so much potential within Purple Trapezist and so much combos it extends. It is such a really good card. Next up is 4 copies of QT Paratrooper. So QT Paratrooper's got the skill of Magia Auto GB1. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle due to the effect of your Magia ability, if you have a Vanguard with Harri in its card name, you can Soul Charge 1, choose up to 1 card not named QT Paratrooper from your soul, call it to Rearguard Circle in the same column as this card. That unit gets 5,000 power till end of turn. And at the end of the turn, put the unit called by this card effect back to your soul. So this is basically a second form of Flying Peryton. But it's grade 1 form, but the restriction of it having to be called by a Magia ability is rewarded by actually giving an extra 5,000 power. So yes, it's nice, but personally speaking, I was actually looking at cutting it after the event because it didn't do that much for me, honestly. I'd rather go for Moonlight Melody Tamer Betty, which was in the example list that I was given before this event, but I decided I wanted to try this out first, see what my thoughts were behind this, because I thought the QT Paratrooper might actually help out more in the long run. So that is one change that I'm very much looking at making, but I don't need 4 Betty, so these might go into like an extra copy of Misdirection and an extra Spicy Clown. I'll be playing around with ratios, so this deck will be updated down the line once I actually have time, and I'll get another deck profile that I've done then. I just want to get the basic thoughts out now. And then the final card that I run is 3 copies of Masquerade Bunny. So Masquerade Bunny's got the skill of when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from your hand, you may choose a grade 3 card in your hand and reveal it. If you do, search your deck for up to one card named Harry and add it to your hand. If you do, choose a card from your hand and discard it. And then our second skill is when it's used, this card is discarded for the cost of stride, this card gets grade +2. So grade 3 in hand for discarding for stride is really good. But the fact of we're able to place it on rearguard circle and search specifically for Master Phantom Harry when we can, as long as we've got a grade 3 in soul, which will be the other Harry at that point, is really good as well. It's extra deck compression, helps us find our our Master Phantom Harry for our first ride. We can even play it down after that if we need to get a Master Phantom Harry for if we need to go for our Xerath Dragon for next turn. So we're setting up our ultimate stride plays. All in all, really nice card. Then we're moving on to triggers. So the obvious trigger to start with is our heal triggers. We run 4 copies of the Hopping Balloon. Hopping Balloon's got the skill of when this card is discarded from your hand for the cost of a G Guardian, you can bind this card face up and choose another card with the heal icon from your drop zone and bind it as well. You then get to counter charge 1 or soul charge 1. So for Pale Moon, most people will go, oh yay, free soul charge. No. For this, it's an extra counter charge for us to go over our extra combos. We don't need so much random soul charging because Pale Moon's more about the specific soul charging. And we compress our deck so much with random soul charging anyway due to Flying Peryton and obviously QT Paratrooper. But having the counter charge is so useful for the deck when you're thinking about the fact of all our strides cost counter blast. You've got lovely Dancing Princess costing counter blast. Once I add it in over the QT Paratroopers, the Moonlight Melody Tamer Betties are going to cost counter blasts. It all adds up over time. Then for non-heals, we are running 6 stands. I'm running 2 copies of Skyhigh Walker and 4 copies of Prankster Girl. We'll cover Prankster Girl first. Prankster Girl's got the skill of Auto GB1. When this card is put into your soul, you may put this card back on top of your deck. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card not named Prankster Girl of the Mirrorland, put it into your soul and shuffle your deck. So this helps ease the random soul charge a bit. Because obviously if we random soul charge this, we can pop this back to deck and grab what we actually wanted. You can also utilise this obviously with Dancing Princess once you're GB1 to put this to soul if you actually want to put a grade 3 in your soul. But it doesn't have to be just from deck. So one of our strides puts it into our soul from field. We've got Purple Trapezist that puts it from field to soul. Any way that it goes to soul, this will activate and go back to deck. And the key part to note is also says up to 1. So if you are getting low, you can choose to just return this to deck to help stack your deck up a little bit further. All in all, beautiful card. Going to be a long time stay for Pale Moon. Then we go on to 2 stand triggers of Skyhigh Walker. Now Skyhigh Walker's got the skill of if you act Rearguard Circle, if you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you can put this card into your soul. If you do, choose up to 1 card from your damage zone and turn it face up. So it's extra little bit of counter charge for the deck, and it's also an act, so it's something that we can do in the main phase. So obviously this is restricted to our opponent's turn, because obviously it's locked behind a G-Guard. So having this as an act for our turn means that obviously when we can do Flying Peryton, Soul Charge 1, call this out, then put this back in again to do other combos. Because obviously people will damage deny in this format very much, so having these or the extra bit of counter charge to help that ease that damage denial is very much needed. Then next, the final triggers we run are 6 critical triggers. We run 4 copies of the Darkside Swordmaster and 2 copies of Silverthorn Assistant Dixie. So starting off with Darkside Swordmaster. Darkside Swordmaster's got the skill of when your Vanguard attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Harry in its card name, you can put this card into your soul from the rearguard circle. If you do, draw a card. choose up to one of your Vanguards, and then gets 5,000 power at the end of turn. So obviously this is really nice for extra Vanguard scaling if needed, draw power, and also the fact of you tucking this into Soul to then free up an extra circle for you to call other units to during your battle phase. Because obviously when this and the Vanguard both activate and within that same timing, you can choose which one to resolve first. Obviously this does need to be on the field before your Vanguard actually declares an attack. So say you use your Vanguard to call this out from Soul, you then can't use this to tuck itself back into Soul, because it didn't see the Vanguard declare the attack. And then the final crit trigger run is 2 copies of Silverthorn Assistant Dixie. Skill is Act, Rearguard Circle, put this card on top of your deck as the cost. If you have a Vanguard with Lucia in its card name, choose up to 1 Silverthorn card from your Soul and call it to Rearguard Circle, then shuffle your deck. So this is literally only in here for the fact that it's a trigger that I can return back to deck. Because the fact of returning the crit back to deck is the cost, it doesn't need to have the Lucia Vanguard. So really nice way to bypass it. Extra crit to go back to deck. In a deck that compresses itself so fast, really does help. Then you notice we've got 2 cards left. Now the reason is, both of these are really good as starter options. So we actually put both of them in the deck. Obviously with Vanguard you're not locked having a specific starter. So say for example against Link Joker, I'd obviously be going for this starter. But against decks where I want to actually farm a hand, I'll actually be going for Happiness Collector. So we'll discuss Happiness Collector first. So Happiness Collector's got the skill of Forerunner, so it moves back once you ride upon it. And second skill of Auto Rearguard Circle GB1. When your other unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from your Soul, you can put this card into your Soul. If you do, draw a card and Soul Charge 1. So obviously all our lovely Purple Trapezes plays that we were discussing earlier, if this is on the board, you're getting an extra draw. But you can also utilise it for having this on board. Call down a Purple Trapezes, for example. Purple Trapezes puts Misdirection. Sorry, let me redo that. This is already on board. You've strode on top of Harry. Harry's skill activates your Soul Blasting one to call out Blind Peryton. This then activates, goes into Soul, draw a card, Soul Charge 1. Blind Peryton activates, calls this back out again. Misdirection then activates because something was called from Soul, calls itself out. Then Happiness Collector activates, goes into Soul, draws a card, Soul Charges 1. The fact that this is so easily abusable multiple times a turn is really good. And it's not restricted to during your turn. So you can also do this whilst you're doing your defensive plays. So you're then farming cards whilst your opponent is trying to attack you. So it's really amusing. But the other card we run is Cat Knight in High Boots. So Cat Knight in High Boots has got the skill of Magia, also within the Soul. When your unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you can call this card to Rearguard Circle, and at the end of the turn, put this card from your field back into your Soul again. And second skill of Magia Auto GB1, when his unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from your Soul, choose up to 1 card named Cat Knight in High Boots, 1 card not named Cat Knight in High Boots from your Soul, call it to Rearguard Circle, and at the end of the turn, put that card called by this card effect back into your Soul. So obviously this works with Stride, because Stride is a card that is placed on your Vanguard Circle. So having that go off, Stride, call this, use this, call Purple Trapezes. Purple Trapezes activates, puts this in Soul, call something else out. Really nice. But imagine doing that play if we're re-riding once we're GB1 with Master Phantom Harri. So you're doing this, calling Purple Trapezes, put Cat Knight into Soul, call something else out. You're then striding, which then activates Cat Knight again, because something else is in place on your Vanguard Circle whilst it's in Soul, to call itself out, and then carry on calling out. So you can actually build up a board for free for no cost whatsoever. So it's a really interesting card and very much useful. So changes, as I said, only one I really want to change is the Cutie Paratroopers, because I just didn't find them as necessary as I thought I would do. So obviously I'll pop up down below here an image of Moonlight Melody Tamer Betty, just so you know what I'm talking about actually putting in. Also, I want to increase the Intensity Spicy Clown number to 2, just for the chances of I do end up damaging it before I can get it into my soul or onto the field for safety. That is it for the main deck though, and I shall see you back in again for a second with the G-Zone. Right, now we are back here with the G-Zone. I've obviously split it up into Strides and G-Guardians. And we're going to discuss the Strides first, because these are the more important part of the deck, because you are going to be striding every single turn. Well, attempting to stride every single turn, I should say. First stride up is our main stride that we go into very much every single first stride in Masquerade Master Harri. So, Master Harri's got 2 skills. First one being Magia Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, you can counterblast 1, choose a face down card from your G zone with the same name as this card and turn it face up. To then choose 2 of your other circles and put the units from those circles into your soul. And if you do, choose up to 3 cards from your soul and call on 2 separate rearguard circles. And at the end of the turn, put the units called by this effect back into your soul. Second skill being, all of your rearguards with the Magia ability gain power plus 3,000 for each card in your G-Zone face up with the Harri name. So obviously this is, first skill, really good, because you can swing in with both sides, swing with Vanguard, use his skill, put them in, call them back out again. But you can also extend it further with the fact of obviously you could actually put back row in to call out stuff like the Happiness Collector, which then activate going to soul drawing a card, then use Purple Trapezes to reset columns. You can create so many combos off this card. The key thing to note is also it says circles, not units. Because it says circles, you can put locked cards into your soul. So really good for the Chaos Breaker matchup. And obviously with you putting it into soul, it's not actually unlocking. So it's actually bypassing their ability to go, okay, Soul Blast, draw a card. But all in all, really nice. The 3k power does actually help with the scaling as well, because obviously it bumps Flying Peryton up from a 9k attacker to a 12k attacker. So it can actually swing in unboosted at a Vanguard if they're not hit defensive. But as I said, he's our very much first stride deck. Never going anywhere. Next one up, because obviously we like the Harri names, I do run 1 copy of Dragon Masquerade Harri. So he's got the skill of Magia Auto Vanguard Circle GB3. When this unit attacks, you can counterblast 2 and put 1 of your rearguards from your field into your soul. If you do, choose up to 3 cards from your soul, call them to separate rearguard circles. Then, if you have 5 or more rearguards, is it your opponent or you? Yeah, your opponent chooses 2 of his or her rearguards and puts them into their soul. End of the turn, units called by this card effect go back into soul again. So obviously this is a nice alternative to this if you actually need to get rid of some pesky rearguards on your opponent's side of the board. So having this as an extra copy of this as such, because you're still getting the same number of attacks, because you're, instead of putting 2 in to call 3 out, you've got putting 1 in to call 3 out. But you're then getting the removal on top is really nice. Plus, with him being the Harri name, he does give an extra 3k buff to the Masquerade Master Harri. So just having him there is really nice. Next card up is I run 2 copies of Jester Demonic Dragon, the Lunatic Dragon. And I'll be blunt, I never went to this card once. Because with how good this card is, the rest of the G-Zone is just filler at this point, is the honest response. So I'll go through his skill anyway. He's got 2 skills. Well, 1 skill that generates another skill, I should say, sorry. Is when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you can choose a card with the same name as this card and turn it from G-Zone and turn it face up. If you do, you get the skill of when your unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from your soul, that unit gets 2,000 power at the end of turn. And then you'll get the additional skill of Continuous Vanguard Circle GB3. This unit gets critical +1. So he's nice for the fact obviously he's got the crit pressure on himself, but he doesn't actually generate any boards. He's more here just for an extra flip, and he then helps your rearguard scale. It's really nice for if you get really badly damaged tonight and you've got no access to getting counter charge off. Because obviously he doesn't cost any counter blast, whereas Harry does. But with how easy it is to call stuff from our soul due to the on stride hurry, this doesn't come up that often, but it's still nice to have there for the just in case. Then next one is one I've put in just for a little bit of fun because I've got a spare slot, don't know what to stick, and that's Carnivorous Megatrick Prana. So Prana's got the skill of Magia Act Vanguard Circle. Once a turn, Cablos 1. Choose any face down card in your G zone and turn it face up. Then choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. When you do this, you can then choose the same number of cards from your soul with a Magia ability as the number of face up cards in your G zone, and then call into rearguard circles. End of the turn, they go back in soul again, unless the number of cards in your G zone face up in your G zone with Carnivorous Megatrick Prana is 2 or more. Then you can choose which cards actually stay on the board. So obviously, with us only having one Prana, this doesn't come into effect. But this is just here as an ability to A, flip up Masquerade Harry, and B, if we've not got an amazing soul, we can use this to actually help set us up. Because we can actually put Prankster Girl the Mirrorland from our hand into our soul, resolve this skill, and then resolve Prankster Girl to go back to deck to put something else into soul. It is very restrictive. Another option you could go for this, which is Curtain Call Announcer Mephisto. But I didn't have Mephisto at hand, so I just wanted to chuck this in because also it's a nice pretty SP. But no, this or Mephisto both work in the same slot. Mephisto honestly would be better because he does more for the deck. But I just went with Prana because cute. Let's move on to the somewhat finishers, and we're just going to start off with the lesser of the two, and that is in Parallel Megatrick Fairfield. Now Fairfield's got the skill of Magia Act Vanguard Circle. Once a turn, GB3, Cablos 2, and choose a card from your soul and your drop zone and put them back onto the bottom of your deck. If you do this, you can then choose a card from your soul, call it a rearguard circle, and it gains 10k and a critical, and the skill of you can Soul Blast 2 to give it 5000 power, and it cannot be chosen by any card effects. So very nice because obviously it's not once per turn for the Soul Blast 2, so you can call something out, pump it to stupidly high numbers, and then it's a perfect guard or die situation. The only thing to note is obviously card effects does include triggers because they are cards still. So anything that you pump to stupid high numbers cannot then be affected by triggers. So you could also choose to go the other route of just calling something out, not using the Soul Blast skill, so it's then getting 2 swings due to the fact of stand triggers. Obviously, once all this is resolved, you do actually shuffle the deck, so your 2 cards you return to deck don't actually stay on the bottom. So you can easily return crits, heals, stands, whatever you want back to deck, so you've got extra trigger chances, or just restocking your deck if you're getting low. All in all, really good card. Then our big finisher is our Zeroth Dragon in Zeroth Dragon of End of the World, Dust. So Dust has got the skill of, and also when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you can Cat Blast 2, and then all your opponent's units on the board become grade 1, power 1. They lose all their abilities, and then if your opponent is on 4 damage or less, they then take a damage. So obviously this is a really big game changer because obviously opponent can't G-guard, and they can't intercept because it intercepts the skill, and everything's power 1. So it's really hard to guard against. The only issue is obviously most of us are now adapted to the actual new guarding format. So obviously with the comprehensive rule update of 2.0, I think it was, they said you don't need, your guarding is not restricted by your Vanguard's grade. So with us still playing that rule in the G format, they can still guard with grade 2s and grade 3s, but they obviously still can't intercept. So it does put a lot of pressure on. It does need you to have 3 face-up cards in the G zone to go into this, so it does take a bit of planning. But due to the fact of obviously our first stride guaranteed flip 1 plus himself, puts 2 there, just a G guard gets you go into this. But you obviously do lose your entire G zone if you do fail to kill your opponent, and that is the face downs and the face ups. So being a GB restricted deck, you do have to time this really well. And the final card of our G zone is 1 copy of our Elemental Seabreeze. So Seabreeze has got the skill of act G zone, counterblast 2, and choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard, the number of face-up cards in your G zone is 0. Your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2, and they have not rode a card that turn. You can pay the cost and then strike this card. So this is literally here for those that try to grade 2 game but don't actually keep riding. Because obviously we are a GB restricted deck, being able to go into this and start going off with our combos does help if they want to try and stall us. But that's it for the strides. Moving on to the G guards. First one up is 2 copies of Doting Harlequin Marja. So Marja's got the skill of, when each unit is placed on guard in a circle, if you've got a Vanguard with the Margia ability, this unit gets shield plus 5,000 at the end of the battle. You then choose up to 1 card from your soul and call it to rearguard circle, and at the end of the turn, put that card from your rearguard circle back into your soul again. If you do not have a Vanguard with the Magia ability, you may soul charge 3. So it's either 20k shield with a call or 15k shield with soul charge 3. So obviously for us, it's going to be the first skill. But obviously, as we were saying earlier with Intensely Spicely Clown, this performs the exact same combos as the Lovely Companion does. But this one's not actually grade restricted to what we actually call. So we can use this to call a Cat Knight in High Boots, to call something else, which can call something else, and fill up our board that way. All while the Intensity Spice Clown's on the board, making it the Vanguard an even bigger defensive number. It's so good. Then for one-offs, because we've got 3 one-offs left. First one is the Jester Demonic Dragon, Wandering Dragon. So Wandering Dragon's got the skill of, when each unit is placed on Guardian Circle, you can soul charge 1, choose a card from your soul, and call it to Guardian Circle. So obviously soul charging our opponent's turn is nice, because obviously if we soul charge a Prankster Girl, we can then put it back to deck and put something else in soul to prep for the next turn. You can also call triggers from your soul to the Guardian Circle off this, just for that extra 10k shield to make it a 25k shield for 1 card. There is so much that this card does for the deck, it's really nice. Then we run 1 copy of Chainsaw Megatrick Furnival. So Furnival's got the skill of, when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from amongst them and put it into your soul, or put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Then, if you put a grade 1 or higher into your soul, this unit gets shield plus 5,000. So obviously 20k shield and getting a specific soul charge into your deck is really nice. Obviously you can put Prankster Girl from deck to soul and gain 15k shield and get Prankster Girl skill to, if, say for example the 3 cards with 3 triggers, 1 being the Prankster Girl, you then get Prankster Girl skill to actually get what you really want. You do have to be wary though, because obviously GB1 is Vanguard Circle and G Zone. So obviously if you've not got anything based up in G Zone, you place this, put Prankster Girl into your soul, you don't get Prankster Girl skill because this isn't in the G Zone or on your Vanguard Circle. And then our final G Guard is the Kinesis Megatrick Coulthard, who's got the skill of Auto GB1. When placed on Guardian Circle, you may turn a card. If the number of cards in your, if the cards in your soul has 4 or more different grades, you can flip a G Guardian face up, and this gains 15k shield. So again, like with the Coulthard combo with Prankster Girl, this being GB1 means you need something already face up in the G zone. So playing him, flipping something up won't activate it. So you do have to time it. But this does also need a 0, 1, 2, and 3 in soul. So it does take a lot of planning, because obviously we've only got 7 grade 3s, but it does reward you in the long run because you're turning a 10k heal trigger into a 30k shield. So this is the end of my Harri deck. All in all, it's a very fun combo deck that does enjoy getting to go off. And you get so much potential from this deck from all the multi-attacks. But that is going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. We're getting even closer to that 500 day by day. Really would like to hit it soon. Leave any questions you've got about the deck in the comments, any afterthoughts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.